Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Nigerians and defenders of democracy, we welcome you all to this crucial World Press Conference organized by the Northern Democratic Watch. We are gathered here today out of deep concern for the survival of democracy, constitutional governance, and the rule of law in our beloved country, particularly in Zamfara State. A dangerous precedent is unfolding before our eyes. On that, if not urgently addressed, will threaten the very fabric of Nigeria's democracy. Today, Zamfara State finds itself gripped by an unprecedented constitutional crisis. Two rival factions now lay claim to being the legitimate state House of Assembly. This absurdity, instigated by the reckless anti-democratic posture of Governor Lawal, has thrown the state into chaos and confusion. In flagrant violation of the Constitution and the principle of natural justice, 10 duly elected members of the Zamfara State House of Assembly were suspended indefinitely. No credible legislative procedure was followed. No fair hearing was granted, and no constitutional safeguards were respected. This action, based solely on political differences and personal vendettas, have effectively disenfranchised thousands of Zamfara citizens, stripping them of their constitutional right to representation. Worse still, a bizarre situation has emerged where two parallel legislative houses are operating independently of each other, enacting conflict resolutions and creating a constitutional nightmare that has left the citizens of Zamfara State bewildered and abandoned. Under this atmosphere of impunity, the state government has gone ahead to claim the passage of the 2025 appropriation bill, a process so compromised, so fraught with illegality, that it calls into question that very foundation of governance and fiscal responsibility in the state. The existence of two parallel House of Assembly in Zamfara State is not just a local embarrassment, it is a direct assault on Nigeria's democracy. It is a violation of the rights of the electorate who entrusted their votes to their representatives. It is a repudiation of the rule of law and a dangerous slide into the lawlessness that must be urgently arrested. Given the seriousness of this situation, the Northern Democratic Watch makes the following demands. 1, immediate and independent investigation. I repeat, we call for immediate and independent investigation. We call on the National Assembly to immediately launch an independent, transparent, and credible investigation into this unlawful suspension of the 10 lawmakers and the emergence of parallel legislative faction in Zamfara State. The investigation must be thorough, non-partisan, and time-bound, with findings made public. 2, reinstatement of the suspended lawmakers. We demand the immediate reinstatement of the 10 illegally suspended members of the Zamfara State House of Assembly. Their suspension is unconstitutional, illegitimate, and represent an unacceptable violation of their rights and the rights of the people they represent. 3, nullification of the 2025 budget process. The purported passage of the 2025 appropriation bill conducted under such illegal and chaotic circumstances must be immediately nullified. We urge the National Assembly to supervise a proper legislative process that respects constitutional order, due process, and democratic norms before any budget can be deemed valid in Zamfara State. 4, declaration of emergency rule in Zamfara State. We call on the National Assembly to, without delay, advise President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who we respect and we know as a father of democracy in our country, Nigeria. He respects the rule of law and don't joke with anything that violates the democratic rule of this country. To invoke his constitutional power by declaring a state of emergency in Zamfara State. This will temporarily suspend the existing political structure and enable the federal government to restore law and constitutional governance to the state. The people of Zamfara State deserve peace, stability, and protection of their democratic rights. We must be clear, the crisis in Zamfara State is not a partisan issue. It is a fundamental right to the survival of Nigeria's democracy. If such reckless abuse of power is allowed, it will send a chilling message to other governors and political leaders that constitutional violation and executive lawlessness carry no consequences. The world is watching. Nigerians are watching. History is watching. The National Assembly must act with courage, patriotism, and urgency. The Northern Democratic Watch stand firmly on the side of democracy, the rule of law, and the protection of the constitutional rights of every Nigerian citizen. We will continue to lend our voices and mobilize democratic forces across the nation until justice is done and democracy is restored in Zamfara State. God bless Zamfara State and its entire environs.
Thanks for checking out Symfoni on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.